As we all know, AI is transforming the way we as developers are doing our work. We're able to ship code faster, more reliably. We don't have to hold as much context in our heads about what's going on in the program. And I want to show you all how I build new features into my existing apps in a scalable, testable way that doesn't have any bugs. It is pretty safe. I use test-driven development, also known as TDD, to make sure everything is done in a scalable way without breaking. So I'm going to show you the new feature that I just built. As you know, this is an inventory app where it's able to save items to be potentially cleaned or sanitized or replaced. And I also have a place for the receipts here. But one big change that I made recently is the settings feature and also the authentication of the app. So the ability for someone to sign in, sign out, and also to delete their account. The deletion is really important because Apple developer, their review team will not approve your app for the App Store if you don't add the functionality of deleting an account. So I'm just gonna demo the sign out feature really quickly. And as you can see, that works awesome. And I don't want to show my password on here, so just assume this works, but you can also sign in. Let's see if it'll obfuscate my password. Okay, awesome, that works. So as you can see, I logged in, no issues. All right, so now I'm gonna go through and share some of the learnings and lessons throughout this project that I want to share with you all to help you see how fast you can produce quality, scalable code without any bugs. We're going to take a look at our architecture review. We're going to look at the auth feature in detail. We're going to look at the settings feature. I'm going to show you the updated entry points, and I'm going to give you a recap of what we went over, and also sharing with you high level like what this all means in the grand scheme of building larger scale iOS applications. All right, so just a quick overview of our architecture. The core principle is that we have a core module called the core, the app core module, where it is basically modular in the sense that it can be dropped into any platform and still work and have the same business logic across all of those platforms. So you don't have to tie any business logic to your view layer, which is supposed to be what they say agnostic of business logic. The idea here is that if we take a look at our architecture from my previous video, is that this core framework should be able to be implemented in any platform. So right now for this app, we're focused on iOS, but we can also, using Xcode's multi-platform support, we can drag and drop this core framework into watchOS, tvOS, visionOS, and macOS, or any OS that Apple comes out with in the future. And all this looks like, big picture, is the ability to contain all of that business logic, networking, any features that we are building, contain it within this container and implement it with the views of that specific platform. So once that is complete, we now have this universal multi-platform system that can be very versatile and very flexible. And when we make any changes to our core framework, it is contained, so it doesn't affect the presentation layer, also known as the UI layer of any of these multi-platforms. So let's go back to our new feature. So now let's take a look at the auth feature. And as you can see with our core architecture setup, this auth feature will be primarily built within this features module here. And all of that information regarding authentication is contained within that auth feature. So it has with it the destination, the navigation, the router, the view models, the services, and the public facing the facade that we're able to use across domains, called the auth feature, where it basically keeps all of this information here isolated to this domain, but the public interaction with that domain is contained in the auth feature. And we'll take a look at that in a second. And as you know, I use TDD for all of my code, so I make sure that everything is built to spec, and also when I make any future changes within my app, nothing breaks. I make sure that all my tests are passing before I proceed or ship anything to production. Okay, so enough of this like high level architecture. Let's go into the actual code base. Okay, so first things first, you know, we're going to be within our core module, and we're going to look at the new auth feature. So as you can see here, it aligns with the diagram that I just showed you. The auth feature has navigation, basically like what takes someone from sign up to sign in. So you see the different destinations. Also, the forgot password flow is also a destination. So essentially, like, this is the different states that are being modeled that the view can react to and observe. So when this is dropped into our iOS app, the app is basically sharing context of like the user interaction, and all of that logic regarding like what the app should do lies within this this feature module. So this is basically saying, okay, what are the potential places that the auth feature can navigate to? And those are sign in, sign up, forgot password, as it stands today in this simple example. Okay, what are the services associated with this? The services associated with this basically are, you know, handling sign up, handling sign in, sign out, resetting the password, deleting an account, getting the current user's email, the user's ID, all these things that are required for authentication. All of that logic is contained in a single file, the auth service file. And the view models are helping provide that logic to the views and containing the state that the views need to react or interact with. And here's the public facing feature, which is the auth feature. And yeah, that at a high level, that is what's going on here. All of that information is contained within this auth feature. And as you know, we contain all of our features dependencies within the dependency container at the top root level. So with the dependency container, all we're doing is initializing that, that new auth feature in this view as well. So as you can see, it's being created and then passed into our dependency container. And don't worry about, like, you know, trying to keep track of all the diagrams. I will be sharing the architecture diagram, and I'll like put my contact info in the description. So if you have any further questions, just drop a comment. And I'm hoping to like release a community soon where we can have like more interactions, and I can hold some Q&A sessions to show you all how I like set this up step by step, and provide like a guide so you're confident in shipping production level apps very quickly. All right, so let's go back to our diagram. And now we're going to take a look at the settings feature. And as you remember from the app, all this is in charge of is sign out, delete, and showing the email, the user's email. Okay, so let's go to the code. All right, so we're going to go to our settings feature in the code. And as you can see here, there's the navigation and the actions that are being taken through the navigation. This is showing the are you sure you want to delete an account confirmation, which will be like a sheet or an alert confirmation. And to dismiss that alert, we also hold that state here in the settings router. And view models, so we're basically saying, okay, when you want to get the user's email or handle sign out or handle delete account, all of that logic is handled in the settings view model. Okay. And the settings feature is basically initializing the public-facing interface that we can use to initialize all of our dependencies here related to the settings feature. So we have the settings router, getting the user's email, handling sign out, handling delete account. All of that is contained within the view model, which is contained within the settings feature. Okay, now let's look at the dependency container. As you can see here, for our settings dependency container, we have the settings router, like I just mentioned, getting the user email. We're going to use the auth service for that because essentially at this point the user has signed in. So we don't need to make a new setting service here. We're just going to reuse an existing one. And that auth service will be contained within our dependency container. So there's no need to initialize a new one. We're already using the existing authentication feature. So as you can see, we're just passing in functionality that already exists rather than trying to like recreate the wheel here. So it's all very modular, very maintainable and scalable. And let's go back to the diagram before I show you how I set up the views. So as you can see, all of the related functionality to settings is contained within the settings feature, and same for the authentication feature. With the app core, we just showed the dependency container and how that changed. We now have our auth feature and our settings feature being initialized within that dependency container. So it is also contained within that dependency container. When we start to look at our views, this is going to be really important because that's where we're going to be getting our information and our dependencies. Okay, and just like the previous architecture video and review that we did, nothing here changes. Like the UI is basically utilizing the information that's stored within that core container to gather business logic, handle any view logic, and send off any API request based on user interaction. So let's now take a look at this in practice. And it's using the latest observable network or observable framework that Apple put out. So let's first take a look at the high level, what changed here. So we have a root view. And because it's so modular and broken down, the setting up the previews is so simple. I just create a mock dependency container, and that dependency container that is mocked out with this preview extension can now just be injected using dependency injection. And it's so straightforward, so simple, and it makes my life as a iOS engineer very easy. I just have to make sure everything is defined well, and I can quickly test out how it looks, get quick feedback before making any commits or pushing to remote or pushing out a new deployed iOS build. So as you can see here, at the root view, we now have several cases of what could happen. So when you see like a new app load up, what you'll tend to see is like this nice shimmer view of like the skeleton loading of the app. And what it's doing is checking the authentication of the system, seeing like, hey, is this user authenticated? If not, we're going to take them to the sign in flow or sign up flow. If it is, then we're going to load the information on the main tab, which is showing all those different screens. So this is basically saying, hey, my preview dependency container is not authenticated. Therefore, I'm going to show this auth container. So let's take a look at the auth container. The auth container view essentially has several states. So based on the navigation, the current destination, it could be in the sign up mode, it can be in the sign in mode, and in the case of forgot password, it can be in the forgot password view. And we can quickly look at that here as well. And all of that information is contained within the dependency injection setup for that view. Okay, so let's now look at the same for settings. Okay, we're using the settings feature and binding to the view model and the router. With the preview, we're able to quickly see it. Preview contains sample information and functionality, so we're able to quickly see the preview, and it's all pretty straightforward. No surprises based on our architectural diagram, and if I run the app, you'll see it pop up very quickly here in the simulator. And yeah, guys, this is super straightforward. I really like it. This has taken me a decade of building apps the hard way to recognize, the value of setting things up modular, and AI has only like made me go 10 times faster. So I really like building and shipping large-scale apps now. It's a lot more fun. Everything is tested and everything is maintained really well. I feel like tools like Cursor and Claude Code give me superpowers. And yeah, that's basically it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. Would love a follow, but just happy that you watched the video. Hope you found this valuable. Yeah, take care.